Hey there, curious minds! Today, we're diving into a question that's probably crossed your mind at least once. Does destiny exist? Are our lives predetermined, or are we just winging it as we go? And spoiler alert, things might get a little destined for controversy. So, what exactly is destiny? Well, it's this idea that everything in your life is already mapped out, like some cosmic GPS guiding you to your final destination. Sounds pretty neat, right? No more stressing about life choices when it's all been decided for you. But hold on a second. Is it really that simple? Let's start with the believers. They'll tell you that destiny is like that friend who always knows where the best parties are. It's guiding you, protecting you, making sure you end up exactly where you need to be. Ever had one of those moments where everything just fell into place perfectly? Destiny, they'd say. That job you got after missing your bus and striking up a conversation with a stranger? Destiny, again. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into the concept of destiny. Throughout history, various cultures and religions have embraced the idea of fate or predestination. In ancient Greek mythology, the three fates, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, were believed to control the thread of every mortal's life. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of karma suggests that our actions in past lives influence our current circumstances. Even in modern times, phrases like, "it's meant to be," or "everything happens for a reason," reflect our lingering belief in some form of destiny. But here's where it gets tricky. If everything is predestined, what about free will? Are we just actors reading from a script, or do we have any say in this cosmic play? Think about it. If destiny is real, does that mean you're not responsible for your actions? Sorry, officer, destiny made me speed. This brings us to one of the biggest philosophical debates of all time. Determinism versus free will. Determinism suggests that every event or state of affairs, including human decisions and actions, is the inevitable and necessary consequence of previous events and conditions. In other words, the past dictates the future. Free will, on the other hand, proposes that we have the capacity to make choices that aren't determined by prior causes or divine intervention. Now, let's flip the script. What if destiny is just a comforting illusion we've created to make sense of this chaotic world? Maybe, just maybe, life is a series of random events, and we're the ones connecting the dots afterward. Consider this. You decide to take a different route to work and end up meeting the love of your life. Was that destiny, or just a happy coincidence? If you had chosen to stick to your usual route, would you have met someone else? Or would destiny have found another way to introduce you to? Here's a question for you. Have you ever made a decision that completely changed the course of your life? Take a moment to think about it. Now, was that destiny guiding you, or was it your own choice that led to that outcome? Let's get scientific for a second. Quantum physics tells us that at the tiniest levels of existence, things aren't as predictable as we thought. There's randomness in the universe. So, if the building blocks of reality aren't set in stone, how can our entire lives be? The famous double-slit experiment in quantum mechanics shows that particles behave differently when observed, suggesting that the very act of measurement affects the outcome. This led to the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, which proposes that particles exist in a state of superposition, multiple states at once, until they are observed. Some have extrapolated this to suggest that our consciousness might play a role in shaping reality itself. Mind-bending stuff, right? But wait, there's more. Some argue that even if the universe is deterministic, fancy word for everything happens for a reason, it's so complex that it might as well be random from our perspective. It's like trying to predict the weather a year from now. Theoretically possible, but practically? Good luck with that. This idea is related to chaos theory, popularized by the famous butterfly effect. The notion that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil could set off a tornado in Texas illustrates how small changes in initial conditions can lead to vastly different outcomes in complex systems. Our lives, with their countless variables and interactions, could be seen as just such a complex system. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But what about psychics and fortune tellers? They can see the future. Well, hate to break it to you, but most of that is just clever cold reading and vague predictions. I see a challenge in your future. Yeah, no kidding. Life is full of challenges. Let's talk about the psychology behind belief in destiny for a moment. Humans have a natural tendency to seek patterns and meaning in random events. This phenomenon, known as apophenia, can lead us to see connections where none exist. It's the same principle behind seeing shapes in clouds or faces in inanimate objects. Moreover, belief in destiny can serve as a coping mechanism. It's comforting to think that there's a grand plan, especially when faced with hardship or uncertainty. This relates to the concept of locus of control in psychology. People with an external locus of control tend to believe that their lives are controlled by outside forces, like destiny, while those with an internal locus of control believe they're in charge of their own fate. So, where does this leave us? Are we destined for greatness, or are we just stumbling through life hoping for the best? The truth is, we don't know for sure, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's exciting. Think about it this way. If everything is predetermined, life would be like watching a movie where you already know the ending. Where's the fun in that? But if life is a mix of chance, choice, and circumstances, then every day is an adventure waiting to happen. Here's another question for you. If you knew your entire future right now, would you want to know it? Would it change how you live your life? This scenario is explored in various works of fiction, from Greek mythology, the story of Oedipus, to modern literature and film. Invariably, characters who learn their fate often end up fulfilling it precisely because they try to avoid it. It's a paradox that highlights the complex relationship between knowledge, choice, and outcome. The beauty of not knowing is that it gives us the freedom to dream, to strive, to make mistakes, and to grow. Whether destiny exists or not, the choices we make and the actions we take shape our lives and the world around us. This idea aligns with existentialist philosophy, particularly Jean-Paul Sartre's concept of existence precedes essence. This suggests that we aren't born with a predetermined nature or purpose. Instead, we create our essence through our actions and choices. In other words, we are what we make of ourselves. So, instead of worrying about whether destiny is real, why not focus on creating the life you want? Set goals, work hard, be kind, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. After all, if destiny does exist, you might as well make it a good one, right? Remember, life isn't about reaching a predetermined destination. It's about the journey. It's about the people you meet, the experiences you have, and the person you become along the way. In the end, maybe the question isn't does destiny exist, but rather, how can I make the most of the life I have? Because whether you believe in destiny or not, one thing's for sure. This life is yours to live. And here's a thought to chew on. What if destiny isn't a fixed path, but a dynamic, evolving thing that changes based on our choices? This idea, known as soft determinism, or compatibilism, suggests that free will and determinism aren't mutually exclusive. Our choices matter and shape our future, but they're also influenced by our past experiences, genetic predispositions, and environmental factors. So, what do you think? Is destiny real, or are we the authors of our own stories? Maybe it's a bit of both. Or maybe the real destiny is the friends we made along the way. Sorry, couldn't resist that one. Whatever you believe, keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep living. Because destined or not, this life is one wild ride, and you might as well enjoy it. Thanks for joining me on this journey through destiny. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, unless, of course, it's not in your destiny to do so. But hey, why not defy fate and click that button anyway? Until next time, keep being curious.